Ladies and gentlemen, please be. Morning, my name is Gary Ellis, and I'm the Chair of the Board of Corporation of New College Durham. On behalf of the Board, to extend to you all a warm welcome to our award ceremony this morning. This morning's ceremony has various awards, including consultancy, education, cultural work, validated by Leeds Beckett University, Teesside University, and New College Durham. We've got competition this morning by introducing the principal of New College Durham, Mr. John Widdowson. On my right is Mr. James Ramsbotham, who's chief. On his right is Dr. Julia Granger, representing Leeds Beckett University, then Professor Paul Crawshaw, representing Teesside University. On my far right is Mr. Mark Anderson, Vice Principal of New College Durham, and on my left is Vice Principal of New College Durham. We're delighted that so many of you could be former students, parents, friends, and staff of New College. Many of you, I'm sure, will have made long journeys to be here with us, and we are most happy that you managed to be with us to join our celebration. May I now invite the Principal, Mr. John Widdowson, to give his address.
Thank you, Gary, and can I just welcome to people who come here, especially if it's your first time visiting the weather for graduation days, and hopefully today will be no exception, though it does look to be cloudy over at the moment. But welcome also back to our graduating students today. One word, I was going to say of apology, but not really. You'll see we've got quite a lot of building work going on the campus, including some really quite radical improvements to our higher education building across out there, but also for advanced manufacturing, for industries, for gas fitting and testing, and improvements to our library and learning resource centre, all of which are really meant to align the college, will align the college with the skill needs of our region and our skill needs nationally. And that's really important, perhaps more important now than it's ever been. So apologies if you will find us in slight disarray in parts of the college as those building works. In August, there's a lot to be done. But back to today, because graduation day is an important date in our college calendar, one of the most important dates, and it's also a milestone in the lives and the careers of our students and graduates. And it's also, I know, an important day for all towards the back of the hall, who join us today not just to celebrate that academic success, but also what we know will be the start of a new phase in the life of our students as they begin their chosen careers and professions, or go even further in their current job, or perhaps make a career change. 100 students are going to graduate this week on 40 programs delivered here at the college. It's 5 years since we obtained our own power to award foundation degrees, and every year the number of foundation degree graduates crossing this stage increases, as well as those qualifications ordered by our partner universities. And today's particularly significant because we're celebrating the first success and graduation of our higher apprenticeship programme in information technology, and 18 higher apprentices will graduate this afternoon in management. So that's again another milestone for us in our work to actually help to build the skilled resource of the region. Part of that also is done in partnership, not just with our partner universities, but also with local businesses, which are key to that success, and also with our friends at Business Durham and Durham County Council, and working with them, we're producing modules in innovation and enterprise, which are going to be available to all of our future foundation degree students to make sure that those skills of innovation, creativity, enterprise are really well embedded in the qualifications that we offer. Just a little bit about the college itself. There's a national measure of performance called the National Student Survey. I think New College Durham had an overall student satisfaction rate of 83%, higher than the national average, and a 12% increase on last year. So thank you for all those who completed the forms in the right way. But also, perhaps more important, on that survey, 87% of our students said that the courses were interesting, met their expectations or exceeded those expectations, and felt that they actually provide that firm foundation for the future. There's further evidence of that on the measures of graduates. 94% of graduates are now in work and study who've graduated, and 78% of them are either in high-level graduate studies or in graduate-level occupations. So that's a really remarkable achievement, I think. Even more so because our students come from a range of backgrounds. Some come directly from school or having attended a college course. Some arrive from having studied in one of our partner colleges and those partner across Europe and beyond. And others have already been higher education students here at the college and choose to stay on after completing an HND or a foundation degree to complete their graduate studies here. And finally, there's a really important group of students, one too easy to overlook sometimes, those who choose to study part-time, combining high-level study with full or part-time employment, demands of that study with those of work and family and all those other social pressures. That can be even more challenging when those students into study after a break or perhaps after an early educational career that's maybe far from sparkling. But although they've got this wide variety of background in common, all have risen to the challenge of high-level study, which these days requires not just a large financial outlay, but hard work to succeed, to meet the exacting standards that we set. More than that, all of our students graduating today have chosen to study in professional and technical subjects. And these require the student not only to understand the theoretical background to the subject, but also how that theoretical knowledge can be applied practically in the world of work. And so the skills to actually apply that knowledge are really key to what we develop. As Gary has said, we've got students graduating on a range of courses. Courses in counselling, in education and training, where 5 students out of the group have obtained first-class honours degrees. From our social work programme, where I know this year there's been a lot of work on a Mend the Gap, a really very interesting and very important research project that we've got at the college, but more has an international reach. And I know a few weeks ago we hosted a conference here with people from across Europe and beyond, looking at how we can actually bring in new methods to engage those people involved in social work and the clients to provide positive, workable, sustainable solutions. And we also see in this ceremony students graduating from the School of Podiatry, which this year celebrates its 40th anniversary in the college. And as part of the celebrations and recognition of that achievement, students actually on Christmas Day and Boxing Day helped to care for the feet of homeless people, seeing approximately 30 people to help them to lead healthier and better lives. And I know that students have donated socks, I'm told new socks, but we'll see. And what's described as pre-loved shoes, which I'm never quite sure about that, to make sure that we can do that by undertaking that professional training. Our students also understand the obligations of professional state, put something back into our community and to make sure those professional skills are used to good end. So lots of things to celebrate, lots of very high levels of achievement, lots of future careers we know are going to help not just those individuals to prosper, but also our, and before just handing over for the really important thing, which is actually to receive those qualifications, I'd just like to say a couple of words of thanks, if I could. First of all, thanks to the academic staff of the college. I know there'll be more eloquent ways at the end of the ceremony, but I would like to thank the academic staff of the college and easy that we achieve, that our students achieve. So thank you for that. I know the students are equally grateful for that, even when sometimes it's been rather a sharp prod to get things done. And also to the support staff in the college as well, because without them, the facilities that we enjoy and provide. I'd also like to say thank you to the families and friends at the back of the hall. As you know, having a student in the family can be an expensive, sometimes a stressful experience. So thank you for the support you've given to our students throughout their period of the college, whether it's been a year, 2 years, 3 years or longer. The success that we celebrate today is just as much yours as it is ours or that of our students. But the final word of thanks from me is to all of our graduating students at the front here. Thank you for all the hard work you've put in. Thank you for rising to that challenge of achieving high professional and technical standards. I know that all cause you to keep in and to persevere, but you have persevered. You have got through to that final stage, which this ceremony acknowledges and represents. You're the best advertisement the college could have as you go out into the world of work and professions with a new status as holders of higher education qualifications. So you are going to be proud professionals, proud graduates, I hope, of new courses with which we work. But there's another role, and that's actually to act as an ambassador for the value of higher education, not just for individuals' value, but also for our community as a whole and the businesses and public sector organisations. Our region still has one of the lowest parts of our education in the country, and that really can't continue. You've taken the risk, you've succeeded. So as you speak to family and friends, people that wish them to take them biases, to think about how they can improve their skills, how they can improve their knowledge and qualifications, and share with them the sense of pride and achievement I'm sure you're feeling today, and encourage them to follow that path. I look forward to hearing of your successes in the future. I'm sure there'll be many, and I look forward to hearing about the really great things you're going to go on and achieve when you leave the college today. Thank you.
Thank you, John. May I now invite James to present the awards to our graduates.
Presenting the graduates for the following awards. The Award of Foundation Degree Counselling, Marilyn Elliott. Ruth Graham. Salia Hussain. Elaine Jackson. Stephanie Kendall. Joanne Knox. Sarah Catherine Thompson. Molly Willis. The award, Emily Cook. Helen Cossa. Mark Henderson. Deborah Jane Steele. Susan Taylor. Joanne Marie Thornton. Christine Toes. Kate Wood. The award of BA Honours Education and Training, Lisa Ball. Katie Jane Bartle. Alicia Naomi. Jean Dodds. Amy Douthwaite. Nicola. Joanne Henderson. Lindsay. Adam Ray. Natalie Rhodes. Amber Smith. Leah Turner. Caris Willoughby. The award of BSc Honours Podiatry Validated University, Hazel Jacqueline Gordon. Sarah Hall. Helen Jones. Anne-Marie Roberts. The award of BSc Honours Podiatry validated by the University of Teesside, Caitlin Marie Bann. Fahid Ben Ahmed. Poppy Brown. And Conara Chapman, who's not only granted the Best Overall Level 6 Student Award. Mark James Dempsey. Eleanor Grace Fennick. And congratulations to Julie Haggerston, who's not only graduating, but has also been Leanna Huntley. Martin. Michelle. Matthew Tones. To Lauren McGowan, who's been given the Best Overall Student Award for a Level 4 student. And congratulations to Scott Walton, who's been given the Lecturers Award for Care and Compassion for a Level 4 student. And congratulations to Christopher Scullion, who's been given the Lecturers Award for Care and Compassion for a Level 5 student. The award of BA Honours Social Work, Jane Louise Bennett. Colin Birkbeck. Christopher Michael Burr. Wendy Yvonne Challens. Michael Chatt. Charlotte Elizabeth Durant. Lisa Earle. Natalie Harvey. Anita Henderson. Nicola Hockett. Michelle Lee. Gemma Morris. Megan Wilkie. The award of Certificate of Higher Education in Applied Social Sciences, Nicola Wright, whose scroll will be collected by her sister and brother, Katie and Craig Wright. The award of Certificate in Education, Diane Binks. Luke Crampton. Lauren Crawford. Suzanne Davidson. Martin Gregson. Patricia Hall. Sarah Jane Heslop. Sarah Howie. Craig Johnston. Michelle Louise Jones. Ashley Michelle Lamb. Tony Lawson. Lindsay Jane Noble. Gary Powell. Julia Ann Stewart. Danielle Wright. The award, Professional Graduate Certificate in Education. Matthew Coultus. Richard Elms. Rachel Sarah James. Dan Kaikobad. Andrew Lawton. Vanessa Jane Martin. Paul South. Mr. James Ramsbotham, that concludes the presentation of candidates for the award of foundation degrees, and professional qualifications. Thank you.
Sit down for it. Thanks, Mo. Thanks, James. Ladies and gents, our guest speaker today is James Ramsbotham. I've known James for a long time, and you may need to bear with me when I read his biography. James is a busy man and has been a busy man, and you'll see when I give you the details. James's current role is Chief Exec of the North East of England Chamber of Commerce. Some of you may be aware, in 2015, they've just recently celebrated over 200 years of championing businesses in the North East, and I know the celebrations went very well and everyone was very, very proud of James and the team. The Chamber has almost 4,000 members and delivers a range of services, especially training and international trade advice, which might be very topical given our recent events. But James has done a lot more than this, and in a previous life, he was also Vice Chairman of the Esh Group, which many of you will know in the area, the award-winning Northeast Construction Group. Prior to that, he spent 14 years as a corporate banker within Barclays throughout the UK, and latterly as their marketing director. He also had, prior to that, 12 years soldiering with the Royal Green Jackets, which took him around the world, and he had benefited from executive education at Harvard, INSEAD, and Oxford University after graduating from Durham. Although he's busy with his day job, he also has other activities. He's chairman of the Darlington Building Society. He's honorary colonel for the Rifles in the north of England. He chairs trustees for the Durham Light Infantry Museum and is a trustee for the Foundation of Light at Sunderland. He's deputy lieutenant for County Durham and gives his time to the cathedral in Durham and to the university and a number of other charitable organisations. James and his wife Carolyn have 2 adult children and they live in the Durham Dales. His wife is involved in a range of event management and tourism-related activities across the region, and they enjoy sailing, skiing, and all outdoor country pursuits. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to ask James to give his address to you today.
Gary, thank you for that. And first of all, huge congratulations to all of you graduating today, and the prize winners, and indeed others, for the recognition for what you've achieved. And ladies and gentlemen, a huge welcome to what is indeed a very, very special day. When I was thinking about what I wanted to say today, I was reminded about a theory that someone once explained to me called the theory of unconscious incompetence. And I think it's probably worth quickly explaining if you haven't heard of this before, but it's that learning is not actually about learning in a straight line. It's almost a circular activity. And it starts like this, and the best way to explain it is if you can think back to when you first started to drive, and indeed our experience with driving. Because before the age of 17, although maybe for some it was a little bit earlier, you had watched other people drive and it all looked terribly easy and you just couldn't wait for the day that you got into the car. And that was a period that we call the unconscious incompetence phase, because you didn't know how bad you were at it, but you were actually fundamentally totally incompetent. But the first driving lesson you had, or the first experience somehow that you got into a moving vehicle and tried to move, and rather than that wonderful smooth start that you planned in your mind, or indeed maybe with 1 or 2 that racing start that you thought you were going to impress everybody with, you probably kangaroo hopped a little bit and stalled the car. And at that moment, you moved from the unconscious incompetence phase into the conscious incompetence phase. You now knew how bad you were at it. But some lessons ensued and some practice, and you gradually became able to drive that vehicle quite sensibly. But you had to think about it. At that stage, you really had to concentrate, and you had to go through the lessons that you've been taught about checking your mirrors before you maneuvered, etc., etc. So it's what we call the conscious competence phase, that you can do it, but you still have to think through it. Now, once you've been driving for several years, you actually become so relaxed that you don't even think about what you're doing. You just get into a car, and without doing anything particularly conscious about it, you're moving off down the road and going where you want to. And you're not actually thinking about driving the car, you're thinking about getting to wherever you need to get to. And it's the unconscious competence phase. You no longer need to think about it, but you are actually fundamentally very good at it, and therefore you don't need to think it through. So, as I say, the unconscious competence phase. Now, the problem is that, as some of you might have realized when you may have driven with somebody who's been driving a particularly long time, is that this starts to go back. And I certainly remember driving with one of my grandparents at one stage when I appreciated what the unconscious incompetence phase had become again. And yet they thought that they were brilliant at it, because nobody had actually ever stopped them to persuade them that actually things weren't quite right. And driving down the outside lane of the motorway at 40 miles an hour, that was not really going to help the population at large and possibly put their own life at risk. And so we go round in a circle, and every now and again we need to have it kicked and put back. And 2 stories struck me about why this is so important. The first of which is one that's about a mathematics professor at Cambridge University, who always would start every lecture by putting quite a complicated problem on the board and explaining to his students that their work for the next week was to solve this particular problem. And at the end of the second year, for one particular group of students, when they came into the lecture theatre, on the board was the biggest problem that they'd ever seen, with a whole lot of workings all the way around the outside of the board. And he explained to them that this was one of the last great problems that the world of mathematics was trying to tackle, and nobody had yet worked it out. So whilst he didn't expect them to complete it, he would like them over the summer holidays to have a look at this and see if they could at least understand the nature of the problem. So he wished them all well and said, enjoy your summer holidays, but if you can have a look at this problem, I'd be really grateful. And then he got on with his last lecture of the year. He was pretty surprised at the start of the first term in the autumn when one, if he was honest, one of his less promising students came forward and put a sheet of papers on his desk. And he said, what's that? And the young man said, well, it's the solution to the problem you gave us. Well, he wasn't expecting very much, so he got on with his lecture, but afterwards he did pick up the sheet of papers and went back to his lodgings and was looking through. And he realized that actually, indeed, this young man had solved it. And he shared it with all his fellow professors, and they pored over it, and they realized that absolutely this last great problem had been solved. So they asked the man in, well, when he was suddenly told that he had to go for an interview with all of the heads of the maths department, he was quite worried about what on earth he'd done. And when they asked him how on earth he'd solved this problem, he looked slightly concerned. Well, why? What's the issue? And after a little bit of digging, it actually came out that he'd been quite surprised to do as well in his second year exams as he had, and he'd been partying probably rather more than he should have done, and he'd arrived particularly late for that last lecture. So he'd never heard the preamble that he wasn't meant to be able to solve this problem. He'd just heard the bit about, I'd be grateful if you'd have a look at this problem over the summer holidays. So he'd scribbled it down and off he'd gone. And knowing that actually he was on the verge of being thrown out at university, he'd pretty much sacrificed his summer holidays to solve it. But the point is, he'd gone into the problem without that feeling in the back of his mind that this wasn't a soluble issue. He was tackling it on the basis that this was just normal work and he had to be able to do it. And he had actually been thinking he was obviously remarkably thick, that he hadn't been able to do it in the way that he had previous problems. And I think that's important because it's about how you set the challenge. If you believe you can do something, there's a far greater chance that you can. On the other hand, going back to the unconscious incompetence phase, and it's particularly topical right now, some of you may remember back to 1992 and the European Championships, or the European football, when, if you may remember, just before that happened, there were 16 teams going into the tournament at that stage, and one of them was Yugoslavia. And just before the tournament started, Yugoslavia went into meltdown, and by the time the tournament started, Yugoslavia wasn't one country anymore, it was 4. So there was no way that they could enter into the tournament. So they went and found the 17th team, who hadn't quite made it, Denmark, and they asked them if they could, at very short notice, take part in the tournament. And guess what? Denmark won that tournament. Everybody underestimated who they were. Oh, but they weren't even meant to be here. They're rubbish. We don't need to worry about them. I think it resonates with some of the behaviors we've seen over the last few weeks. And it's that bit about absolutely understanding what your limits are and what the size of the challenge is. And all of you here today, what you've done to achieve what you have, to be here right now and collecting these certificates and graduating from the college, is a huge achievement. Indeed, I hope that all of you can fix in your minds this room and this audience. Because there will come times, and the principal mentioned it in his words, that there'll be challenges ahead. There'll be moments when you might doubt yourself. Please try and remember, whenever that happens, this room of people with huge admiration and so proud of your achievements and absolutely willing you on. And at those moments you might doubt yourself, just drink in the love and the affection and the support that you've got in this room and hold it very close, because it will help you get through all sorts of things. And I say that particularly because in this region at the moment, we've got some huge challenges, but we've got some amazing advantages, which I don't think we often enough really sing to the rafters. And following the results of the last few weeks, we've probably got more challenges ahead than others. But I would also say that we as a region are probably better placed than anywhere else to tackle them. We are a far more internationally connected part of the world than anywhere else, and we are connected to every single corner of this globe, and our goods and our services are recognized the world over for the quality that they are. And we don't always project ourselves internationally in the way that we're sometimes portrayed nationally, where journalists and others always like to suggest that the Northeast is maybe not quite as advantaged as others. And I tell them regularly that the Northeast is not a problem for the rest of the country to solve. It's the most enormous asset that should be maximized on behalf of the United Kingdom. We're the only region that actually exports more than we import. Or as the way I tell the government, we're the only region that actually makes a profit for this country. We have got some incredible businesses and some incredible business people and some incredible organizations doing the most amazing range of things. And I could talk to you for hours about what they do. But you all, particularly with the qualifications you picked up here, are going to contribute to that in so many ways in the years ahead. And I really, really hope that you will stand up for this region, but that you will always think where in that cycle you are, and therefore know that if you've got the confidence to achieve something and you've got the ability, and particularly with the learning that's been imparted to you here at New College, that you have got the ability to achieve things. But don't go too far around the cycle and become overconfident, because that's what happened in those European football matches in 1992. And almost more importantly than any of that, one of my great business heroes was a lady called Anita Roddick. Some of you won't have heard of Anita Roddick, but she started what was a totally revolutionary business in the 1980s called The Body Shop. And it was revolutionary because of the way that it engaged with suppliers and its environmental concerns, and really ahead of the curve with that. And a lot of people used to say that she was trying with her business to achieve so much on a global environmental scale that was too big for her. And she had a really simple answer for everybody. If you ever think you're too small to make a difference, you've never been in bed with a mosquito. So please, go and be mosquitoes and go and make a huge difference. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, James. Not sure about the mosquitoes. May I now call upon one of our students, who's a BA Honours Social Work student, Colin Birkbeck, to propose a vote of thanks. Colin?
Hello, everyone. On behalf of all of us graduating here today, I would like to thank the college and the principal for enabling us to celebrate all of our hard work and academic achievement at this ceremony. We are happy to be joined by our families and friends to share in our success. For most of us, the studies we have undertaken have been both challenging and rewarding, and I would like to express our appreciation to the tutors who have always been there to support us, especially when times have been hard, and their dedication to our success is much appreciated. I would like to say a very special thanks to our families. They have supported us when we have progressed through our programs, given us encouragement and tolerating our anxieties as the next assignment deadline grew closer and closer, and then the next one and the next one. The good news is it's all over. Your reward, I hope, is to see us up on this stage here today as graduating students. One of the unexpected bonuses of study is our friendships we've made. I am sure these friendships will not end with graduation today, but will last into the future, providing us with hours of entertainment as we recall all the good times we had when we were undergraduates. Finally, a big thank you to the college for organising today's graduation, enabling us to celebrate our academic achievements with our families, friends and tutors. On behalf of all of us, I wish the college and all its students every success in the years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Colin. Ladies and gents, that concludes the formal part of this morning's ceremony. We would like you to join us, if you can, in the East Mall. Strawberries and cream are being served. But could I just ask a favour? Could you just remain seated until the formal party have left? And we hope to see you all across the mall. And we wish you all a safe and pleasant journey home. Thank you.